Good morning, guided group members. This is Mrs. Engel coming at you to kind of give you the lowdown of what I need you to do over the next 2 days. So, I asked if people wanted to write their own myth or read a myth, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same graphic organizer for both. So if you want to read a myth, I'm probably going to post how zebras got their stripes, Raven and the Flood, and Coyote and the Star. And all you have to do is just choose one if you're the person who wants to actually read the story. If you want to write the story, you ignore all of those, and what you can do is still watch this video to kind of understand like what you might do. Here's a graphic organizer for either if you're going to read the myth or if you're going to create your own myth. So here it's a natural phenomena that you're trying to explain. Generally, there's a god, goddess, hero, or element of nature that you're going to use, and sometimes they might be in disguise. But this is kind of optional. And then why it's going to help explain the natural phenomenon and the lesson that you want your reader to take away. So then all you have to do is say, once upon a time there was. You're going to describe the characters. You're going to describe the setting. You're going to describe the initial conflict and problem. You're going to attempt to solve the problem and why it failed, number 1, number 2, and upon number 3, how they solved the problem and how it worked. Then you're going to tell how to solve the problem and how that led to the lesson that is learned. So for example, I'm not posting this one because I talked about it already. What we're looking at is Persephone, the Greek myth. Now, a lot of times when you go in here, the natural phenomenon that they're trying to explain is going to be at the very end. So if you want, you can wait to the end. So for example, after 4 months, Persephone returns to join her mother in the world above. The air warms, the ice melts, and the flowers begin to bloom again. Spring returns. So if I was completing it for this one, I would put in here the myth I'm trying to explain is why spring returns. And then the goddess that I'm going to be talking about is Persephone. And I might ignore this right here. And how will this help explain the natural phenomenon? I might have to wait until I read that whole thing. And we'll see if there's a lesson. There may or may not always be a lesson. The lesson might be as simple as I'm trying to teach my reader why the Greeks or how the Greeks thought spring came to be. Okay. And then it would be once upon a time there was. Now that's obviously going to be in the beginning where I'm going to describe the characters. So if I go back, of course, I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to look at my characters, right? You obviously know that with the capital letters. So here's Persephone, here's Hades, and so I'm going to be talking about that. And when you talk about the setting, walked in the fields with her friends, gathering flowers. So you want to kind of talk about that within your setting. And then what the initial conflict or problem was. Lonely. So again, you're looking for negative connotation words. Hades wandered the earth in search of a queen. And so you kind of keep looking for negative connotations, would never agree to join him in the dark underworld. And so he swept her into his chariot. So basically he kidnapped her. So that would be the problem. That's what I put in here. Now, why did it maybe fail? Okay. Let's see. He placed a crown upon her head. It is yours now. So here's why it failed. Persephone didn't care about the crown. She only cried for what was lost. So like she missed home, right? And her mom missed her as well. So the way that they tried to solve this is her mom tried to go to Zeus. So that would be attempt number 2 of how to solve the problem. Her mom went to Zeus to try to find out where her daughter happened to be. Zeus ordered Persephone to turn to the world above. But you always look for those but words, right? That lets you know how or why it failed. What he did is he made her eat a pomegranate, okay? Why is that a problem? He smiled as he left Persephone. He had tricked her, but she didn't know yet. So if I was to put that in here, I would say that Hades tricked Persephone by making her eat this fruit. Okay. Then in my number 3, spring returns. He said, you didn't eat anything, did you? Yeah, I had this. And now because of her mistake, she must return to the underworld each year. She must spend 4 of the 12 months there, 1 for each seed she ate. So what happens in the end is, attempt number 3 is, she does have to return to the underworld, but it's only for 4 months, and then she's able to come back to the top and have spring. So, there could be a lesson learned in here, like, don't take food from strangers or something like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the other myths, and you're going to walk through the same process that I did, either how zebras got their stripes, how raven and the flood, and then coyote and the star. Or you can skip that and you can make up your own myth. So you want to think about something that you want to explain in the natural world, like why does it thunder? Why does it lightning? Where does the wind come from? Where does the sun come from? Where does the moon come from? Think of something in nature that you would like to try to explain. And then you're going to choose a god, a goddess, or a hero, or elements of nature that you're going to use. Do you want to disguise that person or that thing? Are they going to transform from something into something? And then what lesson you want your reader to take away. So you're going to follow the plot diagram. Once upon a time there was. You're going to describe your characters. You're going to describe your setting. You're going to describe the problem. And then why it failed. Problem 2, why it failed. Problem 3, and why it worked. And then in the end, kind of like wrap it up. So again, you can either choose your own, how zebra got their stripes, raven and the flood, or coyote and the star, or you can ignore all those and create your own. Either way, you both will use the same template. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at jenniferengel@schooldistrict54, and I look forward to seeing your work.